ADHD is a myth. If you want to get rid of your ADHD or just improve your focus, this video is for you. First, I want to start off with you being diagnosed with ADHD. Most were diagnosed as a child, some as adults. But I'm going to start off with children. So as a child, you probably were hyper, like every kid is, and you probably couldn't focus on something that you didn't want to focus on, which is usual for every kid, unless like they're taught by their parents. If they're not taught the discipline of focusing on something they don't want to focus on by their parents, they're going to say you have ADHD, when really I'm just a child who hasn't learned how to focus on things I don't want to focus on. But so you went to, a psychiatrist or whatever they are, psychologist, bro, I don't know, either or. So you went to one, you got diagnosed with ADHD as a child. You just listened to them because you have no say so. You're still a child. Your brain is like a sponge. So you were diagnosed, and that now you have an identity tied to ADHD. And what that is, that's a spell casted onto you. If you guys don't think spells are real, when you spell words out, it's literally called spelling. I don't have to say much more about that. That's another video I made. But you have this spell casted onto you that you have ADHD, and now your subconscious looks for things to prove that you have ADHD. If you can't focus on, a class project or like a math lecture, you're going to be like, oh, I have ADHD. Or if you can't focus on your work, you're going to use the excuse, oh, I have ADHD. When no, it's just your focus is bad and you don't have the discipline to train your focus like a normal, not like a normal person, but train your focus to get it to be normal and not really bad. Because that's all it is. It's just you have bad focus. It's not ADD or ADHD. It's just you have bad focus and you have to train your focus. So think. It takes critical thinking. Are you scrolling through Instagram? Are you spending 10 seconds looking at one thing, scroll 10 seconds looking at another, scroll 1 second, look at another, scroll 5 seconds, look at another? Think of what that's doing to your brain. That's giving you dopamine spikes. If you go on Twitter, which, I got Twitter at like 8 years old. I don't know why I was on Twitter at 8 years old, but say you could see a guy get eaten by a lion, okay? You scroll, you see a porn video, okay? You scroll, you see Trump getting shot, you scroll, you see, I don't know, you just see everything that just messes with your focus. So another thing, think of what you're doing. Are you playing games that constantly spikes your dopamine? Because you get rewards. Dopamine is a reward system for your hard work. So if you're playing games and you work hard to get your achievement, like for an example, get a victory royale in Fortnite, you work towards that. And when you get that victory royale, your dopamine spikes. So if your dopamine continues to spike from video games, when you get rewards, your baseline is going to continue to get lower and lower and lower, since your dopamine is going up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. But it keeps going up so much, the baseline just drops so low. The baseline drops so low. So think of our ancestors from a million years ago. They wake up, they go hunt, they eat, they go to sleep. Versus us, we wake up, we get on our phones, we scroll, we do something else that messes with our dopamine. We look at screens all day. There's like just so much going on around us, and we just kind of have to tunnel everything out and go back to our old roots of focusing on one specific task. Stop waking up and playing games in the morning. Stop waking up and, just wasting your dopamine that you could use on your work. You ask, why is my work so hard? You already wasted your dopamine. Your dopamine is your drive, is your willpower. And you already wasted that by waking up and scrolling. I don't know why I did this today, because I'm low-key being a hypocrite, but I woke up and I text this girl. I just see what she had to say. That is messing with my dopamine. Usually I wait until after I get my deep work done to text people back, to check messages, to check Instagram. I don't scroll on Instagram, by the way. That's just Come on, bro. You gotta stop scrolling. Stop watching TikTok. Like that is frying your brain. All this social media is frying your brain. So that's the first step to just cut out of your life. This social media stuff, this is why you can't focus. Social media. They say people with ADHD can have hyper focus with things they are intrigued by. Well, if you have attention deficit disorder or ADHD, how can you hyper focus on something that you're intrigued by? That it just doesn't correlate. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. If you have ADHD, you can't focus on nothing, bro. Or ADD, attention deficit disorder, whatever. Like, you can't focus on nothing if you have it. It's just a lie to keep you low, to keep you so you can't focus because it just doesn't make sense. So another tip I have for you is lie to yourself that something that you don't want to do is the most interesting in the world. For example, I take notes every day and I lie to myself. Even if the notes I don't feel like taking or they're not the most interesting notes, I delude myself into thinking this is so interesting, this is so fun, and I hyper focus on it. Okay. Are you working with your phone by your side? Why do you need your phone by your side? Unless, some people have families and in case a family member calls, but during your work, don't pick up your phone. Put it in silence mode because I know you might get calls. You don't get calls, put it in airplane mode. I don't have my phone at my workstation most times unless I need it to use it as a tool. So get rid of that phone while you're working. People with ADHD tend to not be able to get things done. So here's a tip on how to always get things done. Give yourself a deadline, a specific deadline to get something done. If you don't get it done, you have to punish yourself with something that you really don't like. For example, if I don't get at least 70% of my tasks done on my task list, I have to take a morning jog. A morning jog. I have to get straight out of bed, not even brush my teeth, take a morning jog. Who wants to do that? Maybe David Goggins, not me. But you know what? That's a punishment. So I get my stuff done. And even when I don't get my stuff done and I do something that I don't like, that builds willpower. And willpower also builds focus because willpower is doing something that you don't like. And when you're taking notes that you don't like, or when you're working on something you don't like, you have the willpower to push through it. When we have less dopamine, we start to see the entire world. That means we just get distracted easier. When we have higher dopamine, we're able to focus, we're able to lock in. So that's why they say do your hardest task first in the morning because first of all you have the most focus to do it and it's going to be easiest in the morning versus if you wait all day until do your hardest task you have very low dopamine and you're going to get distracted every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds. When dopamine is low, neurons fire when they shouldn't be. Think, are you getting good sleep? Stay up for 48 hours and see how your brain thinks. See if you can focus. You're not going to be able to focus. If you're getting 5 hours of sleep, think, am I going to be able to focus tomorrow? If I get 6 hours of sleep, some people would do 6 hours of sleep. Most can't. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Stop cutting yourself short for the next day because that's just going to stress you out even more. What is that extra hour of watching TV going to benefit you? It's not going to benefit you. Think of it like this. You work the entire day and you should go to bed at 10, but you spend an extra hour scrolling on TikTok, frying your brain for an extra hour, and you go to bed at 11. So then tomorrow it's harder to work and you work longer versus if you went to bed at 10, got your 7 to 8 hours of sleep, good rest. And it's not about how long your sleep is, it's about the quality of your sleep. So if you're on your phone or looking at screens an hour before you go to bed, your quality of sleep isn't going to be good. If you're eating, which also spikes dopamine, an hour before bed, your quality of sleep isn't going to be good. So you can research how to improve sleep quality. I can give you all of that, but this isn't about that. So if you get good sleep, save your dopamine, you could get your work done that usually took you, 8 hours? You get it done in 4 hours. So now you have all this time to maybe fry your brain if you're into that, or do something else that could generate you more happiness, more revenue. Instead, you're going to scroll on TikTok so you can work longer and stress yourself out more. You got to understand when you're over focusing on something, your brain is going to miss other key elements. So, for an example, they did this study where a guy sat in front of a screen and the whole alphabet played very, very fast. And they said, try to find Z and R. So, the whole alphabet played and he found R, but his mind took like a blink. So like his mind kind of went numb, I guess. That's the best way I can explain it. If you guys want more information, I will link an Andrew Huberman podcast that I got all of this information from. He goes in depth about it. But anyways, he missed the Z. But when they told him just focus on the Z, he got the Z. So think, when you're over focusing on something, you're gonna miss other information. That's why you want to look in a panoramic view. What that is, say, example, I'm just looking at my phone right now. But without you noticing, I could look at my phone and look at the background of the background. I could look, I see windows, I see chairs, but I'm still looking at the phone. Or I could just focus, which would cause me to miss other elements when I'm just looking at the phone. I'm gonna tell you to meditate. I know people don't like meditating. You can't even meditate for 5 minutes, probably. I was at that point, bro. Don't worry. I literally couldn't meditate for 5 minutes. It was bad. But I built it up every day, and now I can meditate for an hour if I wanted to. A person with ADHD can meditate for an hour. How crazy is that? Um, Meditation consists of closing your eyes, focusing on like steady breaths, consistent breaths, and being mindful of how you feel, what your skin is touching. You know, I can feel my back touching a chair, or you can feel the breeze. You got to focus on, how your stomach feels. Focus on your body for 17 minutes a day. This will greatly improve your focus. Not only that, but lower your cognitive decline. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to do that? Just take 17 minutes out of your day. It could be a boring 17 minutes where you're going to feel better and you're going to increase your focus. Increasing your focus, you could get more work done at a faster rate. Therefore, you could live your life more. Sacrifice 17 minutes of your day to get hours of your day back. Here's another practice. They do this with little kids in elementary school, but it could work for everybody. I suggest that you move around before you do this. So do maybe 10 push-ups, 10 jumping jacks. Just get like your urge to move out of yourself. And what the practice is, you look at your hand for a whole minute without blinking. You probably will blink, but try your best not to blink. Look at your hand for a whole minute without blinking. Then after that, look at an object another object further away for a whole minute without blinking. Then after that, for a third time, look at an object even further away than the object you just looked at for a whole minute without blinking. Doing this once a day can also greatly improve your focus. Here's a little fun fact. THC raises your dopamine, so you can focus when you're off the marijuana. But are you going to remember it? Are you going to remember what you're focusing on? No. So THC, yeah, it can help you focus in the moment, but you're not going to remember what you were focusing on. So I could say THC is probably good for jujitsu or MMA guys. They just got to focus on punching the guy. But if you're like studying or working, yeah, don't study off the THC, bro. Trust me, I don't think I ever done that. I can't even remember if I did that because I did smoke weed, so I probably wouldn't remember if I studied off the THC. Increase your introspective awareness at all times. So if you're just chilling, if you're on a work break, be mindful. Be mindful of what you see, what you feel, how you feel, the air, how cold it is, how hot it is. Does your back hurt? Where do you feel pain at? Don't do that because that's probably going to make your pain even worse. But just be introspective as much as you can. This will also greatly improve your focus. You can also add this 300 milligrams of DHA omega-3 fatty acids is the best, fatty acid or omega-3 to increase your focus. Last thing I have is try to stay off your phone because it's literally stripping your life away. Think of people 50 years ago. They have lived a longer life than you. Your life is just going to go by so quickly the more you're on your phone. Your phone, you can live without your phone. Please stop being on your phone so much. Stripping your life away in every single aspect. Decreasing your focus, decreasing your willpower, decreasing your drive to go out and make something of yourself. That's all I have for y'all today. I hope y'all take these actionable steps, fix your diet, research the research, foods that have no sugars in it. It's not that hard. It really isn't. I hope y'all take these actionable steps, increase your focus because I want all of y'all to be at the top with me. Peace out.